Stop, folks! Stop! Back up!
Now on KGW Plus, the manhunt continues this morning for the shooter who killed right-wing activist Charlie Kirk during a speaking event at a college campus in Utah. What investigators know about the shooter and local reaction to Kirk's death coming up. Plus,
we want to hire and retain staff who are skilled.
Nearly 800 Vancouver school employees will vote today on whether to strike, what workers are demanding, and the district's response.
Today also marks 24 years since the terrorist attacks against the U.S. On September 11th, 2001, this is a live look from the Ground Zero Memorial in New York City. We'll see how people across the country are remembering the lives lost that day as we kick off the 8 o'clock hour of sunrise right now.
Good morning, and thank you for joining us live at 8 o'clock. I'm China Green.
And I'm Drew Carney. Lots of news headlines to get to this morning, but we also want to check in with Rod and Chris for a quick look at weather and traffic.
Yeah, thank you. My part of the story is pretty simple. Just a solid marine deck this morning. Chinookwiz Casino Resort, Lincoln City. Here's downtown Portland, cloudy skies. 62 is our number. Don't be surprised if you find some patchy drizzle out there. 67 at noon, probably still cloudy. One of those days where we expect to see some sunbreak activity. Will we get enough sun to warm to 75? Maybe or maybe not. It could be cooler like 70 or 71 out there later today. Here's Chris.
Rod, thanks for that. It's a rough morning on the roads. Let's get you up to speed with the drive times. Right now, your trip north from Wilsonville approaching 40 minutes. We've got a fender bender or something over on the shoulder here near Lower Boones Ferry Road. That's got traffic extra thick back past the 205 interchange. Meanwhile, in Clark County, the lineup, and it is a lineup, it starts at Main Street. It is slow and go all the way down across the interstate bridge down to the Fremont. At last check now, that drive up to 47 minutes. That's as slow as I've seen it in the last 2 weeks, southbound out of Clark County this morning. Meanwhile, in North Portland or Northwest Portland, photojournalist Eric Patterson has been on the scene for the last couple of hours of this, an overturned container on the west end of the St. John's Bridge. The St. John's Bridge is closed for now until they get this out of here. So your traffic solution to get around that, of course, I-5 to the Fremont Bridge to Highway 30. So that's going to add extra time for that part of your commute as well. Guys, we'll keep you posted.
All right, thank you, Chris.
To my great fellow Americans, I am filled with grief and anger at the heinous assassination of Charlie Kirk on a college campus in Utah. Charlie inspired millions, and tonight, all who knew him and loved him are united in shock and horror.
That's President Trump speaking last night in a video posted to Truth Social condemning the death of right-wing activist Charlie Kirk. We also just learned this morning that President Trump is awarding the Presidential Medal of Freedom to Kirk. He was shot and killed yesterday while speaking at Utah Valley University.
Officials say the assassination is believed to be a targeted attack. Police initially took 2 people into custody as suspects, but they were both released when no connections were found. NBC's Morgan Chesky has the latest.
This morning, the hunt is underway for Charlie Kirk's killer, the charismatic conservative activist shot at Utah Valley University. Kirk was discussing mass shootings in America when a shot rang out.
Do you know how many mass shooters there have been in America over the last 10 years?
Counting or not counting gang violence?
Great.
The attack captured on video from multiple angles. The moment of impact, too graphic to show. Authorities overnight saying it was a targeted attack.
I want to be very clear that this is a political assassination.
A university spokesperson said the shooter appears to have fired from this building, some 200 yards from Kirk's location.
We saw him fall backward, blood shooting out of his neck, hit the floor, and we just had it bolted out of there.
Kirk rushed to the hospital in a private vehicle. The crowd of around 3,000 fleeing in panic. Authorities taking one man into custody shortly after the shooting and later releasing him. Then in the evening, FBI Director Kash Patel posting that a second man had been taken into custody, but less than 2 hours later, saying he was released. Overnight, authorities saying, quote, there are no current ties to the shooting with either one of these individuals and are now asking the public for tips. President Trump, who announced Kirk's death, calling him a patriot.
Charlie was the best of America, and the monster who attacked him was attacking our whole country.
The 31-year-old Kirk was one of the most influential young conservative figures in the country, an ally of President Trump since the 2016 election, and a close friend of many in the Trump White House. Kirk co-founded Turning Point USA as a teenager, eventually growing it into a powerhouse organizing group for young conservatives on college campuses. The group credited with helping Trump win over young voters in the 2024 election.
And let's just say thank you, God, for giving us Donald Trump and giving our country back.
Kirk, also a popular podcaster, was well known for his advocacy for conservative politics and traditional Christian views, attracting both support and controversy for his views on gender, gay rights, and race. His website calling him deeply involved in America's cultural and ideological battles. Kirk was a married father of 2 children, shown here joining him for a TV appearance just weeks ago. Overnight, tributes in Utah for a young activist whose life was cut short by an act of shocking political violence.
Now let's bring in Corey Johnson in the newsroom. Corey, how are local lawmakers reacting to this?
Well, China, politicians across the political spectrum have condemned Wednesday's violence. Yesterday, Governor Tina Kotek ordering all flags at Oregon public institutions to be flown at half staff until sunset on September 14th. In a statement, Kotek saying in part, this attack is inexcusable. Violence has absolutely no place in our democracy. America is better than this. Oregon Senator Jeff Merkley also tweeting, my thoughts are with the Kirk family and with the Utah Valley University community. Opposing views should never be suppressed with violence. Oregon House Republican leader Christine Drazen also released a statement saying the shocking assassination of Charlie Kirk should horrify every American who believes in free speech and public debate. That statement going on to say any extremist who has called for violent action against their political opponents should be ashamed of what they have brought on our country. Violence and hatred must end. Reaction to yesterday's fatal shooting continues to pour in across the country. We'll continue to bring you the latest from the newsroom. China?
Corey, thank you. We will continue to cover this story as it develops on KGW.com and KGW+.
We have breaking news in Vancouver this morning. Kids in the Evergreen School District may soon be able to start their school year after the district says it reached a tentative agreement with the group of district workers who have been on strike now for nearly 3 full weeks.
But even with the tentative agreement, there's still no school today for the Evergreen kids who have now missed the first 12 days of the school year. Sunrise reporter Thomas Schultz joins us from district headquarters with the latest. So Thomas, what happens next?
Yeah, well, guys, now those union workers will vote whether to reject or approve that deal that just came through late last night. These are workers like paraeducators and maintenance staff. A vote is going to happen tonight at around 8 o'clock. After that, the superintendent will tell parents whether or not school's on for Friday. This, of course, would be a big relief to many families here in Southwest Washington. The school year was supposed to start on August 26th. But nearly 3 weeks later, those students remain out of class. Throughout the strike, nearly 1,400 classified staff, like those paraeducators, have pushed for better pay and staff stability. Though recently, these contract disputes have gotten messy. The school district has threatened to sue the union in order to end the strike, arguing the strike is illegal under Washington state law. Still, the district has said a lawsuit is a last resort. So again, guys, today is the day we find out if those students will return to class, if a deal is reached. There's also a hearing, an injunction hearing that was scheduled for today at 9 o'clock this morning due to this strike. We're going to go check it out over there at the courthouse, see if that's still on in just a little bit. We'll bring you all the updates as we have them. Drew, China.
All right, Thomas Schultz live for us this morning there in Vancouver. Kind of a crazy situation up there in your Clark County, Rod. You've got the Evergreen school strike that might be ending here soon. Vancouver schools now may be going on strike. A lot to cover. All you got to do is tell us what the weather's going to be like out there.
First year, it doesn't impact me, by the way. My daughter graduated, back in June.
Yep.
Yeah. Satellite radar, we've got showers and thunder showers that are expected to redevelop central and eastern areas. No lightning right now, some showers, but some of the showers are starting to pick up into heavier rain rates once again. So you folks on guard for active skies again today. Here on the west side of the Cascades, Chinook Winds Casino Resort in Lincoln City, cloudy skies. I wanted to show you this camera because it looks like this next one that there could be some mist going on. This is still in Lincoln County, a little bit farther to the south. This is the inn at Ottercrest, and that looks like it's a little misty from their vantage point with low cloudiness for sure. And the clouds look pretty dark and solid from the Chehalem tasting room out in Sherwood here in the valley. Again, patchy drizzle or mist, certainly a possibility. 62 Troutdale, 60 Sherwood, as we just saw, 60 out in Beaverton as well. Dallas, good morning, Polk County, 58 for you. Down in Albany, good morning, Lynn County, 59 is your number. So final day of this pattern producing showers and thunderstorms in central and eastern areas of our state. 60s and 70s for you. You folks will be mainly dry tomorrow and Saturday. And then the question here on the west side, believing it will still be cloudy at noon, will we see afternoon sun breaks or not? We will need sun breaks to get up to 75, otherwise it'll be cooler, maybe closer to 70 in fact. Tomorrow, cloudiness to begin, but then sun developing, 78, 83 on Saturday as we warm up. Right now, clouds thicken Saturday overnight. You wake up Sunday morning, it's raining. That breaks into a scattered shower threat that could lead into Monday morning. And weather models love more than a quarter of an inch of rain Sunday, so we'll see. We have a stretch of sunny, warmer days starting Tuesday of next week. Here's Chris.
Rod, thanks for that. The good news, no injuries with this crash on the west end of the St. John's Bridge. But the bad news is, well, you can see it. The container's still on its edge here as they have the heavy equipment out there trying to get that out of there. The St. John's Bridge has been closed for more than 2 hours. Your traffic solution around that, I-5 to the Fremont Bridge, and that is extra busy as well this morning if you're trying to get from North Portland to Northwest Portland. We've got a lot of slow spots out there. I wanted to start off with that one. That's the lineup on I-5 in Clark County, and we start the drive time at Main Street. From Main Street to the Fremont Bridge, I'll get you there in a second. Right now, I-84, 27 minutes from Troutdale, I-5 from Wilsonville, about a 41-minute commute. And at last check now, this trip in from Clark County on I-5, China, we're moving along at about 12 miles an hour, 45 minutes to get you in from Main Street to the Fremont Bridge.
Thank you, Chris. It's been 24 years since the September 11 attacks. This is a live look at Ground Zero in New York. Coming up, how people across the country are commemorating almost a quarter century since the day.
High school in your alma mater at St. John's in Calamba, Laguna, Philippines.
The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust on your time. Track how the weather will impact your day.
Certainly becoming increasingly hazardous.
Extended, continuous coverage of breaking news live from the scene.
That snowpack is still heavy.
Go deeper with in-depth interviews and exclusive reporting. All the local news you need, live or on demand. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free. On Weather Impact Alert Days, stay informed, prepared, and connected with KGW and KGW Plus. Coverage that alerts you to what's coming and how it will impact you. Watch extended weather coverage on KGW Plus. The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust. Track how the weather will impact your day. Breaking news live from the scene. All the local news you need. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free.
Today marks 24 years since the September 11th terrorist attacks that killed nearly 3,000 people. This is a live look at Ground Zero in New York City, the site of two of the attacks that day in 2001.
NBC's Stephanie Goss brings us more on the legacy still felt decades since the day that shook the world.
This morning, the 24th anniversary of 9/11. Nearly a quarter century has passed since 19 terrorists hijacked 4 passenger planes, crashing them into the Twin Towers, the Pentagon, and a field in Shanksville, Pennsylvania. Thousands were killed, while those who lived through it have these images forever seared in their minds. One day that rocked the country and the world, leaving a legacy still felt decades later, especially at the headquarters of the New York City Fire Department. 343 FDNY firefighters died on 9/11, but those who worked at Ground Zero are still dying from illnesses linked to the air they breathed in the weeks that followed. 39 new names were added to the department's World Trade Center Memorial Wall this year.
Today really means a lot to our families.
And there are still efforts underway to positively ID the remains of 40% of the victims. 3 new identifications were made as recently as this summer. President Trump is honoring the day at the Pentagon and then flying to New York City tonight for the Yankees game.
Is the anniversary still hard?
Yeah, sometimes you can turn it off like a switch and just get through it, and others are harder.
Amy Gardner was 9 years old, her brother just 6, when their father Tom, a firefighter, was killed at the World Trade Towers. Their art, part of an installation in the 9/11 Museum showcasing work done by children, called Drawing Meaning.
We're doing art as a way of just expressing ourselves.
The drawings and paintings both capture the pain and fear, as well as hope. As a child, Amy wrote, "I am trying to make my mommy feel better. I know someday she will feel better."
I know that we knew at a young age how hard this was for our mom to get through as well, and we just wanted her to be okay too.
Again, that was Stephanie Gosk reporting for us this morning. Meanwhile, we take this live look from our Timberline Lodge Skycam that shows Mount Hood. Temperatures up there near the mountain. We're near the lodge anyways, in the low 50s. With that, we bring Rod Hill back into the mix. Let's talk about the Thursday forecast.
Yeah, simple day for us. Question is, do we get some breaks tonight this afternoon? Don't know. We'll see how it plays out. Clouds are solid here in the valley for the most part and at the coast right now. Here's a look at the Pioneer Park building. There's Broadway and the cloudy skies. So far, no reports of patchy drizzle. We saw that one camera down at the inn at Ottercrest, Lincoln County, where it looked like there was some drizzle going on. Weather headlines, stubborn clouds today. My way of saying no guarantees that we get developing sun. We will need some sun to get up to my forecast high, which is 75. We have sunny, warmer days coming tomorrow and Saturday up into the 80s. And then Sunday, rain likely. Will this be another rain chance that disappoints? Well, right now, as of early this morning, all of the models I look at, the Canadian, the European, 2 different American models, all show a quarter, and some of them show even more than a half of an inch of rain, with the rain developing Saturday overnight into Sunday morning and then breaking into scattered showers during the day. So we'll see. Next week, I love this headline, sun is coming and a stretch of low humidity days. Think about how humid it's been the last several weeks. We could actually get several days with sunshine and east winds. That would also set up, even if with warm afternoons, it would set up some of the cooler nights that we've seen in a while. It's coming next week. And then later in the week, possibly some warm afternoons, 85, maybe even getting closer to 90. So it's kind of what we're looking at as forecasters. We're also looking at today being the finale of this pattern producing scattered showers and thunderstorms over in central and eastern Oregon later today. We have showers out there right now, but thunderstorms expected to develop. Models keep all of the action away from Mount Hood today, by the way. So we'll see. It's 50 degrees up there. Drew showed you that shot a moment ago. There's the Salem Capitol and the Capitol Mall, and there's downtown Portland. Salem's at 59, Portland's at 62, 57 over in Bend, 51 out in Baker City. Certainly you are expecting some thunderstorm activity in proximity to you. Here's noon today. Still clouds on the west side for the most part. And then as I play this through the afternoon, see the bright colors? These are all potential thunderstorms outside of LeGrand at 5 o'clock. Some storms diving down to the south, may extend back to the west into central Oregon. This does keep action away from the Dalles, keeps action away from Mount Hood as well, if it's correct. Valley forecast for today. Stubborn clearing. We'll need some sun to get above 70, as I mentioned. We'll see if we get it or not. Southwest Washington, similar situation with light west and northwest winds. Our 7-day forecast. Tomorrow, early clouds, sunny by noon, upper 70s, maybe 80. Have us in the 80s on Saturday. Then the rainy forecast on Sunday. I mean, if it really turns out to be wet, we may not get to 70. It could be cooler than that. Steady temps potentially throughout the day. And then there's that east wind, sunny, warming pattern with low humidity starting Tuesday into Wednesday of next week. Here's Chris.
You got a big smile on your face saying that, Rod. All right, back to the St. John's Bridge again. It remains closed here as crews work to right an overturned container on the west end of the bridge. The traffic solution around that St. John's Bridge closure, I-5 to the Fremont Bridge to Highway 30. I-5 this morning, way extra backed up. This is a live look right now from Main Street, and it's been a while since we've seen that southbound I-5 commute this stacked up this late into the morning. So with that in mind, we're looking at 41 to 42 minutes to get you in from Main Street south to the Fremont Bridge. I-205 south a little busy as well. And as we take you to the other side of town, this is in Tualatin, or actually in Wilsonville. I-5 northbound traffic is stacked up this morning. This is from Alexid Road getting up through the 205 interchange. This is I-205 south approaching the I-5 interchange in Tualatin. So that's a kind of a big old mess this morning as well. 40 minutes the drive in from Wilsonville north to the Markham Bridge. Drew?
All right, thank you, Chris. Vice President J.D. Vance headed to Utah this morning following yesterday's shooting death of right-wing activist Charlie Kirk on the campus of Utah Valley University. We'll have that story and other national headlines coming up here when the Sunrise Show continues in 2 minutes.
KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust. Track how the weather will impact your day. Breaking news live from the scene. All the local news you need. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free. On Weather Impact Alert Days, stay informed, prepared, and connected with KGW and KGW Plus. Coverage that alerts you to what's coming and how it will impact you. Watch extended weather coverage on KGW Plus.
We have now issued a weather impact alert.
We could expect conditions in some parts of our area to change drastically pretty soon, right?
And very quickly, yes.
This is significant rainfall coming our way.
You'll definitely want to be extra cautious.
Certainly becoming increasingly hazardous.
We've got the potential for some tree limbs or even trees or power lines to come down.
Of course, when you hear thunder, it's always best to take cover.
On Weather Impact Alert Days, stream extended coverage on KGW Plus.
Attorneys representing the estate of a Vancouver teen with special needs who died in 2020 due to starvation and neglect claim that the Evergreen School District knew about the abuse years before his death. When he died, the 15-year-old was reported to weigh less than 70 pounds and had scars on his neck. Prior to his death, Washington Child Protective Services launched an investigation into reports of mistreatment. Months later, his adoptive parents were arrested in Northern California and have since been sentenced to decades behind bars for charges including second-degree murder. According to the complaint, the district had, quote, sufficient information to know that the 15-year-old and his two younger brothers were being abused, but failed to report it to police or state authorities. A new request from the U.S. Department of Justice is raising questions about voter privacy in Washington. The DOJ has asked the Secretary of State's office for a complete copy of the state's voter registration database within 14 days. So that includes full names, birth dates, addresses, partial Social Security, or driver's license numbers. Similar questions went out to more than 20 other states. Secretary of State Steve Hobbs says that he will not release any data until the DOJ explains how it would be used.
All right, let's take a look at other national and world headlines with your morning rush. We start with a teenager in Colorado who injured two other students during a high school shooting yesterday outside of Denver before he shot and killed himself. One of his victims is in stable condition with non-life-threatening injuries. The other was listed in critical condition, and there's been no further update on that. Officials say none of the officers who responded to the school shooting yesterday fired any shots. We also have a reminder this morning that if you or someone you know is struggling, help is available 24/7 by either calling or texting 988 to reach the National Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. The Lifeline can provide you with confidential support and resources. Meanwhile, another teenager was shot and killed and 5 other people were injured during a shooting at an apartment complex in Tampa, Florida. The 5 people hurt were all between 19 and 22 years old and were either taken to or showed up on their own at a local hospital. NBC reports that Vice President J.D. Vance and his wife are flying to Utah today following the shooting death of right-wing activist Charlie Kirk during a speaking event at Utah Valley University. The vice president was originally scheduled to attend this morning's 9/11 commemoration event at Ground Zero in New York City. Last headline here, 316 South Korean nationals who were detained during an immigration raid at a Hyundai facility in Georgia last week are set to return to Korea today on a charter plane. One person who was detained in that raid did decide to stay here in the U.S. and go through deportation proceedings instead of agreeing to the voluntary departure. And that's a look at your morning rush.
We are hoping to see a doubling of volume through the terminal over the long term, over the next few years.
A major deal at the Port of Portland could shape the future of Oregon's economy, what that means for hundreds of jobs, and the promise to double cargo volume in the years ahead. Plus,
it's believed to be the most destructive forest pest in the United States right now.
he is talking about this little guy, the emerald ash borer. Coming up, the damage this invasive beetle can cause and how the Department of Forestry is working to get rid of them.
On Weather Impact Alert Days, stay informed, prepared, and connected with KGW and KGW Plus. Coverage that alerts you to what's coming and how it will impact you. Watch extended weather coverage on KGW Plus. The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust. Track how the weather will impact your day. Breaking news live from the scene. All the local news you need. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free.
Issued a weather impact alert.
We could expect conditions in some parts of our area to change drastically pretty soon, right?
And very quickly, yes.
This is significant rainfall coming our way.
You'll definitely want to be extra cautious.
Certainly becoming increasingly hazardous.
We've got the potential for some tree limbs or even trees or power lines to come down.
Of course, when you hear thunder, it's always best to take cover.
On Weather Impact Alert Days, stream extended coverage on KGW Plus.
Good morning, I'm China Green. The man arrested for the death of a 13-year-old boy in Gresham is being held without bail. 21-year-old Anthony Hunter Jr. made his first court appearance yesterday. Back in April, gunfire went through a wall, killing Liam Stanley Bailey, who was asleep in an apartment next door. Two other suspects in the case, 20-year-old Xavier Hirsch and 17-year-old Terrell Coy, are still wanted for second-degree murder. Headed over to Rod Hill for a look at weather.
Well, we have ourselves a cloudy morning and probably still going to be that way at noon today. Just typical low marine clouds. There are a few cameras in the valley that have shown some brightness. 59 clouds over the state capitol. A little bit of a darker view to my eyes over downtown Portland, 62. So our forecast, still cloudy at noon, 67. Very comfortable to be outside working today, no doubt about that. And then we'll look for some sun breaks this afternoon. We will need sun breaks to get up to 75. I have a sunnier, warmer forecast tomorrow and Saturday. And then right now, still looking at a good chance of waking up Sunday morning to rainy weather.
Kicking off the 8:30 half-hour sunrise with this live look from our Wells Fargo Skycam overlooking downtown Portland and the Willamette River. I'll tell you what, gang, it's 8:30. We've got 30 more minutes of the sunrise show here, and we still have a lot of headlines to get to, both nationally and locally this morning. But before we get to those headlines, Chris is going to give us an update on traffic, and Rod's got your weather forecast.
About as dark of a view with the sun being up, looking down the Willamette from the Wells Fargo buildings, you would see, right? So that tells you that there's some depth to the clouds that are up top. And this marine layer is pretty widespread from the coast to the valley, bumping up into the Cascades. And there's no reason for me to expect that we will see any sun between now and noon. So we've got a ways to go before we start looking for potential sun breaks. This viewpoint, looking right across the Willamette at downtown from our Rose City camera, a little bit brighter than that Wells Fargo view we showed you. 62 is the number. Winds are light from the northwest. So cloudy, 60s at noon. Again, obviously very comfortable if you're outside doing construction or some sort of work today. We will need sun breaks to get up to around 75 for a high. Now, east of the Cascades, today looks to be the final day of seeing numerous showers and thunderstorms develop during the afternoon. We've seen this day after day this week, and we'll get it again today. Storm chances better out east today. Some of the storms might pull just into the Central Oregon resort areas this afternoon. Our modeling keeps the Dalles dry, also keeps the Mount Hood area dry. We'll see. Not a guarantee, but that's what the modeling is showing. And again, just to get up above 70, we will need some sun breaks this afternoon. Here's the 7-day. 75 if we get some brightness. Tomorrow, I think we get some before noon. 78, 83 Saturday, a couple of really nice days. You wake up Sunday morning, odds are looking increasingly likely it will be raining, and then scattered shower threats continue into Monday morning. We go on a run of sunny, really pleasant, warm, late summer weather next Tuesday and Wednesday, and actually into Thursday and Friday. Those days come with an east wind, which should set the table for low humidity and cool nights as well. Here's Chris.
Rod, thanks for that. It's been a rough morning on the roads, and we'll get back to this and those cameras in a second. I want to remind folks that the St. John's Bridge is still closed 2.5 hours later because of an overturned container truck on the west end of the bridge. Crews are still working to get that righted, but in the meantime, I-5, the Fremont Bridge, and Highway 30 is the traffic solution to get around that. And I-5 is extra busy this morning. We are late and slow out of Clark County. There's the live look right now from Main Street. That trip from Main Street down to the Fremont Bridge is back up to 46 minutes. I-205 is no picnic either. And as we go down to the south in Tualatin, the I-5 northbound commute's been extra busy. This is actually the vantage point from just west of Stafford Road. I-205 south to I-5 north is backed up this morning, and the I-5 lineup is thick from Wilsonville. At last check, that's a 45-minute ride to get you from Wilsonville Road north to downtown. China, Drew?
Thank you, Chris. Your time now is 8:33, and in developing news this morning, the Evergreen School District says it has reached a tentative agreement with a union representing classified employees. The district says that union leaders are set to vote on whether to ratify the contract today. If the contract is approved, students will start school tomorrow.
So that's the latest on the largest school district in Clark County. Meanwhile, the second largest, the Vancouver School District, may be dealing with its own classified worker strike, depending on how those workers vote later tonight.
Yeah, if they walk off the job, school could close for more than 20,000 students. Sunrise reporter Thomas Schultz brings us more from Vancouver.
Nearly 800 employees like para-educators and technology specialists are pushing for higher wages. They say higher wages allows for more staff retention. And they say that far too often there's just not enough adults in class to adequately watch over the kids. When there's more stability in classrooms, para-educators say there's less outburst from students.
Students respond better to people who have been there for a long time, staff who know them really well, staff who know their behaviors. They respond well and they're more successful when you don't have too much turnover.
The union has been bargaining for a contract since April. In response, Vancouver Public Schools says they remain hopeful that an agreement can be reached and a strike avoided, adding that both sides want a fair contract that honors and respects staff. Vancouver Public Schools also tells us that they've received assurances from the union that if there is a strike, it wouldn't interfere with school tomorrow. If they do go on strike, presumably that could be more of an issue for next week, but the district would have more time to prepare for that. Guys?
Thomas Schultz live for us there in Vancouver this morning. Meanwhile, the Portland Public School District may have finally landed a building to house its Center for Black Student Excellence. Voters approved $60 million for this center more than 5 years ago. It may finally start to take shape. So during a school board meeting this week, board members unanimously approved spending $16 million on a piece of property in North Portland over at the corner of North Fremont and Vancouver Avenue. The district's plans for the Center for Black Student Excellence include tutoring opportunities and support systems for students. Local leaders hope to get final approval for the property by December. Let's take a look at some other local headlines we're following this morning. A hiker has been found dead after getting lost near Multnomah Falls. The Multnomah County Sheriff's Office says the hiker was reported missing just after 8 o'clock yesterday morning. A short time later, a separate 911 caller reported a body in the general area where the hiker was reported missing. The hiker's identity has not yet been released.
The man arrested for the death of 13-year-old boy in Gresham is being held without bail. 21-year-old Anthony Hunter Jr. right there made his first court appearance yesterday. Back in April, gunfire went through a wall, killing Liam Spanley Bailey, who was asleep in an apartment. Two other suspects in the case, 20-year-old Xavier Hirsch and 17-year-old Terrell Coy, are still wanted for second-degree murder. The Port of Portland has announced a new deal to keep Terminal 6 going as the only international shipping port in the state. The port agreed and reached an agreement to make Harbor Industrial Services its long-term operator. Right now, the terminal directly supports up to 400 jobs and more than 1,500 jobs total across the state. Harbor Industrial Services will take over Terminal 6 by the end of the year. A directive from the Trump administration to exclude undocumented families from a free preschool program is set to take effect today unless a judge blocks it. In July, the Department of Health and Human Services issued a directive reclassifying Head Start as a federal public benefit, a move that would bar undocumented children from enrolling. Several states, including Oregon and Washington, sued to stop that change. Earlier this week, a federal judge in Seattle heard arguments in the case, with advocates arguing Head Start is an education program, not a welfare program.
We see it as a school-based program. It is a school readiness program. And so we believe the Trump administration has a very creative definition of what welfare is.
Federal attorneys declined to comment on the case.
All right, bugs in the news this morning, specifically an invasive beetle that's threatening to wipe out it's serious business actually, it's kind of crazy. It's threatening to wipe out 99% of the ash trees in the state of Oregon.
It's like this big. Yeah. Catherine Cook has more on the damage being caused by emerald ash borers and the effort to stop them from spreading.
Arborists inspecting the branches of this ash tree in southeast Portland for a tiny green menace. It was here in this David Douglas High School parking lot where they discovered Multnomah County's first emerald ash borer. Native to Asia, the invasive beetle has killed hundreds of millions of ash trees in other parts of the country before making its way to Oregon 3 years ago.
It's believed to be the most destructive forest pest in the United States right now.
Matt Mills is the emerald ash borer support specialist for the Oregon Department of Forestry. He says this summer, the beetle showed up in traps like this one in Marion, Clackamas, Yamhill, Washington, and now Multnomah counties. He fears the beetle will wipe out 99% of the state's ash tree population.
They move large distances, like probably how they got here from Oregon, is people transporting infested firewood and other sorts of material. So that's why we're really trying to hammer home the message that we should not be moving firewood around the state.
Experts say emerald ash borers laid their eggs on ash trees. When they hatch, the larvae burrow into the tree and feed under the bark, blocking the tree's ability to transport nutrients.
One thing I noticed immediately was that the tree was looking a little bit more stressed.
Peter Van Oss is the arborist who discovered Portland's first emerald ash borer. He says people should check their ash trees for signs of the beetle. That includes a dying canopy with dead branches and yellowing leaves, woodpecker damage like drill holes, small D-shaped exit holes that are flat on one side, and bark splits that larvae have chewed away. For the last 2 years, the city's forester has been treating ash trees in Portland parks with insecticide.
This is an environmentally friendly treatment. It is injected into the trees, not sprayed or drenched into the soil, and it is fine for pollinators, animals, people, and other vegetation.
Whatever they can do to keep these beetles at bay. Catherine Cook, KGW News.
All right, next stop here this morning, a local golf course. They got some maintenance work thanks to some hungry animals.
These goats are helping trim the grass on the 13th hole at the Eastmoreland Golf Course. Their job is very simple, just to eat that overgrown weeds and plants on the steep banks, the hills and ravines, which means no need for heavy equipment.
We've had a lot of positive feedback from the community. The neighborhood's not having to listen to heavy equipment come in here and mow it down. So it's pretty much a win. And this is one of the most Portland things I can think of, using goats to clean out a gully.
The animals are expected to be on site for roughly 2 to 3 weeks.
Actually, I just realized, Chris, I played the back nine there about a month ago with my boys. I know we've been talking about the story this morning. I'm like, wait a minute, we were just there ourselves.
You know that hole?
Well, I think I recognize that ball. That's is the deal.
The joke is that they call it Easy Moreland.
Wasn't for us that day.
It's not easy. All right, also not easy today is this. This is a live look from above the St. John's Bridge. Photojournalist Eric Patterson's been there for a while now. You're looking at a container truck that overturned about 2.5 hours ago on the west end of the bridge, and Eric's pulling out here. Obviously, no traffic getting across the bridge right now. Unfortunately, your traffic solution to get around this is I-5, which is extra busy this morning. There's a live look right now from the Discovery Trail crossing up in Clark County. So this is right around Main Street. This is late and slow to be this stacked up at this hour of the morning. Right now, the drive in from Main Street is a solid 42, 43. Okay, it went down a little bit. 41 minutes now, Main Street to the Fremont Bridge. So that's been a rough commute. As has this. This is I-5 on the other side of town, getting in from Wilsonville. That traffic has been extra busy this morning as we look at some of the drive times and drive cameras there. I-5 getting in from the Boone Bridge in Wilsonville north of the Markham is about 40 minutes at last check.
Thank you, Chris.
It's not a good feeling, like there's already a million things to worry about financially.
Data shows that the average basket of produce jumped $100 between June and July. After the break, we'll look at why and how experts say you can save on your grocery bill.
Hey, I'm Blair Best, and tonight at 6:30 on The Story, permitting problems in Portland. It's something we hear about all the time. I'm sitting down with an architect trying to build affordable housing, the issues he says he's running into, and what needs to change. Watch The Story tonight live at 6:30 on KGW, or anytime on our TV app, KGW+. Have a great morning, and I'll see you tonight.
The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust on your time. Track how the weather will impact your day.
Certainly becoming increasingly hazardous.
Extended, continuous coverage of breaking news, live from the scene.
That snowpack is still heavy.
Go deeper with in-depth interviews and exclusive reporting. All the local news you need, live or on demand. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free.
We have now issued a weather impact alert.
We could expect conditions in some parts of our area to change drastically pretty soon, right?
And very quickly, yeah.
This is significant rainfall coming our way.
You'll definitely want to be extra cautious.
Certainly becoming increasingly hazardous.
We've got the potential for some tree limbs or even trees or power lines to come down.
Of course, when you hear thunder, it's always best to take cover.
On Weather Impact Alert Days, stream extended coverage on KGW+.
All right, if you feel like your grocery bill has been getting more expensive, you're not imagining things.
So wholesale prices for vegetables, specifically vegetables, recently experienced their biggest jump in decades. Sunrise reporter Corey Johnson joins us now with more on this in the newsroom, including what this produce price hike could mean for local shoppers. Corey?
Well, that doesn't necessarily mean your grocery bill went up overnight, but experts say it set the stage for higher prices as we inch closer to fall. Wholesale vegetable prices spiked nearly 40% from June to July. That's the sharpest summer jump in nearly 40 years.
The Bureau of Labor Statistics says the average basket of produce jumped from $228 in June to $317 in July, nearly $100 more in just 1 month. So what's behind the spike? Experts point to new tariffs on imports and ongoing labor shortages that make harvesting crops more difficult.
It's not a good feeling, you know, like there's already a million things to worry about financially.
So much of the stuff, like the salads and so on, I'm almost to the point where I can't afford them anyway.
The real impact usually shows up a few months later when local harvests slow down.
You know, Portland is known for having a lot of vegetarians and vegans. I'm worried that it's going to hit harder here than in other places. Maybe not 40%, but you know, 4 or 5, I think people should be prepared to see.
Digital strategist Brian Vance tracks Portland grocery prices through his newsletter, Stumptown Savings. Vance says there are ways to blunt the impact, like taking advantage of SNAP double-up food bucks and shopping around for the best deals.
Don't be so loyal to one store that you're paying more than you absolutely have to.
And experts say now is the best time to plan and shop smart before wholesale hikes make their way to Portland checkout lines. Guys?
All right, Corey Johnson, live for us this morning in the newsroom.
You know, I don't overly pay attention when I'm buying stuff at the store. Every now and then something catches my attention when it goes through the register, right? I'm like, what the heck was that? So I guess I better start paying attention in the produce checkout.
I can imagine a man like yourself where money's just falling out of your pockets. You know, why would you pay attention? But for us regular folk, you know, we actually look at the grocery receipt.
I thought it would be like not that much in between stores, but my husband and I love the cherries, the rainier cherries.
Oh, yeah.
Like we get like
Very
2 pounds
good.
of them like
Yeah.
twice a week. And
Twice a week?
Yeah, we love them.
That's 4 pounds a week.
Yeah. And at Safeway, they're like $4.99 a pound or $5.99 a pound or something. At Market of Choice, is that it? I think that one, it's like $9.99 a pound.
Oh,
what?
wow.
It's the same thing.
Can we get back to 4 pounds of cherries between the two of you guys each week? I mean, your water
That's a
bill
lot
is
of
going
cherries,
up too.
man.
I eat it on the way to work every morning. I eat it on the way.
Cherries.
It's my carb instead of like rice. and
Whoa,
stuff. I just,
something hit me in the face the other day in the newsroom and I couldn't figure out what it was. You've been spitting cherry seeds.
No, but some people might think I'm doing dip
Or
when I'm like
pits.
driving because I'm just like with my cup.
Spitting your seeds?
Just seeds.
I'm not making that up, by the way. Something did hit me in the face, China.
Not me.
All right, okay, here we go. We've got showers on radar. Right now, no lightning, and these are kind of trying to bend back into the Matters Bend area. But we will see this wheel kind of refire of scattered shower and thunderstorm activity as you go through this afternoon. Final day of that, by the way. You folks will be mainly dry starting tomorrow. It's been an active week for you. Cameras are socked in with cloud cover. This is up in Welch's, the Mount Hood, Oregon resort. I think that wetness is from sprinklers. I guess I'm not positive. But your best chance to find some mist or drizzle this morning would be up in the mountains or even along some of our rivers. That's up at 1,500 feet. Always beautiful there. Here's a Chehalem tasting room. The barn camera looking out over the vineyard, and it's cloudy. You're not looking at the cloud cover, but the clouds are solid. 60 is the number. Here you see the clouds over downtown and up over the West Hills. The cloud deck is somewhat high because there's no fog over the West Hills. You know, sometimes these low-cloud mornings you get fog up around 1,000 feet or so. It doesn't look like that's the case. 62 out at PDX. So far, no reports of drizzle. 60 up in Kelso. The Dow, 68. Bend with some rain just off to your east, 57. John Day, Baker City, Pendleton, all awaiting thunderstorm development to refire this afternoon. Here's Futurecast. Notice cloudy in more spots than not still at noon here on the west side. Notice as we play through the afternoon the bright colors, scattered showers and thunderstorms. The thunderstorms expected to be more numerous out across eastern areas today and less numerous into central Oregon. You folks may just get clipped with some activity a little bit later today. If the modeling is correct, Mount Hood stays dry, the Dow stays dry today, and we will see some of us sunbreak activity, but not everybody here on the west side. this afternoon, and we'll need some sun just to crack up above 70. This shows Salem at 74 today, and I've got Longview, Kelso showing up at 69. Vancouver 75 if we get some sun. Portland 75. Wait for it, if we get some sun. Better bet of developing sun tomorrow, 78, a nice Saturday, 83. Then you wake up Sunday morning, we think it's going to be raining, and then we'll see some scattered showers after that into maybe as late as Monday morning. A nice stretch of sunny, warmer weather with some crisp nights perhaps next week. It is birthday time. All right, some days we have long lists, some days we have short ones. The short days are fun because it's all about one person. Ashley, happy birthday to you. 28 years old today. Hope you have a great fun day with your friends and family. Birthdays at KGW.com is our address. Send us your photos and we'll celebrate with you. Here's Chris.
Going on 3 hours of this. You're looking live right now at the west end of the St. John's Bridge. Photojournalist Eric Patterson's got the bird's eye view looking down on the scene where this truck overturned carrying a container. They're still working to get that thing righted. Not only the container, but the back end of the truck looks like that got mangled up a little bit in that crash. By the way, no injuries that we hear in this crash, but it has closed the St. John's Bridge here for, again, about 3 hours. The traffic detour, the solution, Highway 30, I-405 over the Fremont, I-5, and that commute this morning has also been extra busy. I can show you right now, just south of Main Street is where the lineup starts in Clark County. So we are late and slow with this commute. In fact, 46 minutes now, that drive time to get you in from Main Street down to the Fremont. On the other side of town, late and slow. That's the theme this morning. No crashes reported, but the trip in from Wilsonville is about 45 minutes as well. We'll be right back.
The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust on your time. Track how the weather will impact your day.
It's certainly becoming increasingly hazardous.
Extended, continuous coverage of breaking news live from the scene.
That snowpack is still heavy.
Go deeper with in-depth interviews and exclusive reporting. All the local news you need, live or on demand. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free. The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust. Track how the weather will impact your day. Breaking news live from the scene. All the local news you need. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free. On Weather Impact Alert Days, stay informed, prepared, and connected with KGW and KGW Plus. Coverage that alerts you to what's coming and how it will impact you. Watch extended weather coverage on KGW Plus.
Here's a look at your local stories. The man arrested for the death of a 13-year-old boy in Gresham is being held without bail. 21-year-old Anthony Hunter Jr. made his first court appearance yesterday. Back in April, gunfire went through a wall, killing Liam Stanley Bailey, who was asleep in an apartment. Two other suspects in the case, 20-year-old Xavier Hirsch and 17-year-old Terrell Coy, are still wanted for second-degree murder. A hiker has been found dead after getting lost near Multnomah Falls. The Multnomah County Sheriff's Office says that the hiker was reported missing just after 8 o'clock yesterday morning. A short time later, a separate 911 caller reported a body in the general area where the hiker was reported missing. The hiker's identity has not yet been released. And the Evergreen School District says it's reached a tentative agreement with the union representing classified employees. The district says union leaders are set to vote on whether to ratify the contract today. If the contract is approved, students will start school tomorrow.
And we have ourselves a solid marine deck morning in most of the valley and over at the coast. High temps today, 75 if, I love that word, it's my favorite word as a weather forecaster. If we get some breaks developing. If we don't, it'd be cooler. We are expecting rain on Sunday, Chris.
Remember our good pal Joe Donlin?
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Said the meteorologist's favorite plant is the hedge.
Oh, the hedge, yes, the hedge.
All right, let's get back to the drive. That is not fun. That is work being done on the west end of the St. John's Bridge to get that container upright and out of there. The St. John's Bridge has been closed for 3 hours. Wow. They've got the truck out of there, but the container's still there. So we'll keep you posted on that. Meanwhile, the drive is ugly this morning. 42 minutes to get you in from Wilsonville, 30+ minutes from Troutdale, almost 30 minutes from Hillsborough, and there's one that takes the cake.
Oh boy.
The I-5 Clark County commute is still lined up from just south of Main Street. I don't have any crashes to report. It's just been a very super busy morning on the roads.
I know one thing, 11 miles per hour is not a speed limit clip.
No,
that
it
is well
it is
well
opposite.
below. All right.
Very safe clip.
All right, well, we appreciate the update. Hey guys, I think we're going to need a bigger exhibit. Actually, this one is probably big enough. It's a brand new Jaws exhibit. It's called Jaws the Exhibition, and it just opened up yesterday in Los Angeles. It features more than 200 artifacts from the Jaws movies.
Really?
Yes, Rod.
I want to see this.
How about this? Some of these artifacts have never been displayed in public before. How about that? Jaws, you may know this already, came out in theaters 50 years ago this summer and was re-released this year to honor the movie's 50th anniversary. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. You have no idea. Dun, 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 dun. Never saw it.
No Jaws?
No.
I meant one might be a little hokey at
Wait
this
a minute,
point.
got to add that to my list.
Came out 50 years ago.
750th
Come on,
movie
boys.
I've seen that China Green has not.
We got to get with it, apparently.
Thanks for watching. See you on Friday.